Renard Robinson, back with another word. Today, a topic of interest that I want to deal with is the importance of focusing your mind. That's what I want to talk about today, the importance of focusing your mind. And the mind is very important to focus because our mental health is our wealth. That's what we're going to deal with today on this live. The mind, your mental health is your wealth. So that's important. You want to look at and define the mind and the function of the mind. And because it's a vehicle that we use to navigate through life treacherous waters, the mind is the vehicle we use to navigate through life treacherous waters. The mind is the part of the individual. The mind is of the individual that thinks, that feels, that wills, that perceives, and reason. So we have to use our mind because it is the part of the individual that thinks. It helps us to strategize and navigate through problems. The part of the individual that think, that feels, the emotions, all that come out of mind. How things affect us is determined by the way we think. That feels, that wills, or the human will is important because in decision making, when we look at the human will, we have to want to do things in order to make them happen. And that has to happen first with the human will, that making a commitment and then carrying it out and doing it. And perceives. Perception is important. How we perceive the world, how we see the world. It's all about our perception. Two people can be looking at the same thing and have two different perspectives according to their mindset, their way of thinking. So that's what we're going to deal with today. We're going to deal with focusing the mind, staying focused, and focusing the mind. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome to the channel. And so it's important. The mind is the part of the individual that thinks, that feels, that wills, that perceives, and especially reason. And so it all happened up here. Your mental health is your wealth. That's very important to keep in mind and to remember. And every day we face things that try to hinder us. It's like when you out on the road and you're trying to get to your destination and all of a sudden there's a detour. There's a detour and you have to take another route to get to your destination, which it might take you longer because it slow you down from your regular routine. And so you can't flow smoothly like you usually do because you have to detour. In life, we have detours, things that try to sidetrack us and hinder us. But it's up to us how we navigate through those things. It's all about our mindset, our perception, how we perceive things, how we see them, how we go about dealing with challenges as they come up. So the battle is in the mind. It's the mental challenge, and how we face those challenges. Life is 10% of what happened to us, and 90% how we respond to it. Hello to everybody on here. All right, welcome to the channel. So it's all about how we respond. A response is positive, a reaction is negative. So we have to look at how we think and how we respond, how we deal with challenges as they come up mentally in the mind. And so mental growth is important. It's important that we grow, and challenge our thinking because we have to exercise self-control. That's what we was when I was explaining, giving the definition of the mind. The mind has to do with the human will. Your will have to do with your commitment, the things that you're committed to, the things that you want to do. And that's important when it comes to self-control, because in order to control your emotions, to control your actions, to control the course of your life and the direction you're going in, you have to want to do it. And then how you handle challenges as they come up, you know. So here we are, right? How we handle frustration is important, and how we settle differences. That's all have to do with our mindset. And what we're dealing with is things that come to distract the mind, that come to hinder us. And every day we face them. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, there is no temptation taken you, but such is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able to bear, but with the temptation make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. So there's things that we have to navigate through when they come up. Those temptations is the strong enticement that try to pull us in and try to throw us off our game, and we have to stay focused. We have to keep our eyes on the prize and not become distracted by minor things. Don't sweat the small stuff, as they say, because it's all small stuff. Some people major in minor things, and for that they don't do anything well. So we want to focus on what we do well. And that takes a made up mind, it takes a focused mind, it takes a determined mind, it takes a commitment of your will specifically. Because everyone has to face dealing with enemies, everyone has to face dealing with obstacles. And the greatest enemy that we face is ourselves, our own personal weaknesses, limitations, the things that we tell ourselves that we can't do. We have to change that mindset and focus on words of success, such as, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me, right? So that's important, that we have that type of mindset, that we focus on our growth and our focus. And so our inward struggles can cause us to lose faith. Everyone have inward struggles, but it's always about how we navigate through those struggles, because our inward struggles can cause us to lose faith, because we start thinking negative and we start pitying ourselves, feeling sorry for ourselves, getting down on ourselves. And so we can't let our inward struggles, the things that we're dealing with mentally, to cause us to lose faith. And what we have to do is focus on the good qualities we have and strengthen in the areas of our lives where we're weak. That's important, that we strengthen our weakness. We have to work on ourselves daily. So it takes work. We have to put in work. We have to put in the time. We have to be patient. It takes time, but you have to work on yourself to make sure that you overcome, because I'm talking about focusing your mind, especially now with all the distractions going on, so many different things that pull for our attention. And so we have to focus on overcoming those weaknesses. And also one thing that's very important to understand is that some people think that they're the only one that's going through issues and problems, but really, it's important for us to go through hindering thoughts and pressures and temptations, because it's all a part of God's plan. You know what I'm saying? It's all a part of God's will for us to go through, because it's there to make us stronger. It's there to help us to learn a lesson. It's there so that they say your mess will give you a message, and your test will give you a testimony. So you have something to talk about. You have something to share. You have something that you can give to someone else that'll help empower their lives, to help them change, to help them grow, to help them become better. And that's what it's all about. Each one teach one. strengthening iron, sharpening iron. And so we do that through sharing our experiences, you know what I'm saying? Our challenges. You know, if I never had a struggle or a problem, I never would have known what I can overcome. I don't know what I can handle. Only God knows. But when I go through something and I survive it and I make it past it, then I realize, hey, look, I went through some hard stuff, but I overcame it. And we all can do that. We all have that power to say, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world, according to uh, 1 John 4 and 4. So we all can say that. You know, we all have that uh, ability. But what it is that we're focusing on our needs. The things that we need is what motivate us. You know, we need to grow. It's human nature. When we see it in newborn babies. If a baby stayed a baby, we know something's wrong. When a baby is born in the world, it has to grow. You know, that's a part of the natural cycle of life. But somewhere along the line, we get stuck mentally. And we have to get past that and get over that to understand that, hey, look, there's more for me to strive for. There's more for me to reach for. There's more for me to obtain. There's more for me. And regardless of what people have said that you can't do, regardless of the people who doubted you, regardless of the people who said you can't make it, you have to fight through those challenges by feeding your mind and putting good thoughts in your mind, positive reinforcement, you know, going over affirmations, things that can help you to change your mindset, mentality, and put some ideas that can help you see things differently, that what you can see possibilities in impossible situations. That's called faith. That's the way faith works. Being able to see possibilities in impossible situations. So that's important that we know that, hey, look here, as long as we're alive, as long as we're breathing, as long as we're functioning, as long as, you know, we're able to live and move and have our being, and we give God the glory, then we can find the strength and the motivation to keep moving forward. And that's what it's all about. And so you never know what a person is going through. We all go through things. We all have challenges. We all go through afflictions. You know what I'm saying? And so one thing for sure is we know the enemy will always try to come and attack us at our lowest point. And this is important when dealing with the mind, because he come at our lowest point. When Satan tempted Jesus in the wilderness, he said, if you be the Son of God, in Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, command that these stones be made bread. But Jesus used the word, see, that enforcement, that authority, the power is in your words, is in the word. And so he said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. That's important to realize and understand that no, we're not living by bread alone. The mind, you have to feed the mind. The body has to eat food, the bread. But then you have to take care of the mind. You get the nourishment for the body, you eat, you get everything you need, but you have to feed your mind. That's important, feeding the mind. You know, what goes into it determines the way you think. What goes into the mind determines the way you feel. What goes into your mind determines the way you see the world. What goes into your mind determines your perception. What goes in your mind determines your commitment. What goes into your mind determines what you committed to. So you have to look at what it is that you put it in your mind, and the way you perceive the world, and make the corrections. Correct those things, you know, just like God, Jesus, took authority over Satan and he corrected him and put him in his place. know if you doing something that you know that is not good for you, is not healthy, then all you have to do is change it and reinforce it with the good, right? Exchange it with good. And that's all we have to do is look at what we're doing and modify our behavior, make the changes, you know what I'm saying? And in order to grow past it. And I like Philippians, the scripture, because some things don't just happen overnight in the mind. Some things we struggle with, you know. But Philippians 1 and 6 that let us know, be anxious for nothing, but all things by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. Sometimes you gotta really supplicate and put some work in, you know what I mean, to get those burdens off the mind. In 1 Peter 5 and 7, it says, cast your cares on him, for he cares for you. So that's important that we do that, that we being able to cast those cares, release that stress, release that burden, release problems, you know, release the negativity. We have to distress. It's important. And some things, you know, that we can't handle on our own. You know what I'm saying? Just like they say that since God is going to be up all night, I might as well give him my problem and go to sleep. That's important. So we don't have to let no one pull us into their mess. We don't have to be lured into traps, pulled into drama, pulled into somebody's mess. We can go the other way. We have a choice. We have a choice to make when dealing with people. If we know that people are not the right type of people for us to be around and fellowship with, we have to move on. We have to get away from them. You know what I'm saying? We have to part ways, you know, for our own growth and development, for our own sanity. And that's what some people do. Some people allow others to drive them crazy instead of parting ways and move on. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. So you want to look at that in mental health. You'd be surprised how many people have people around them that's affecting their mental health negatively, and they continue to spend time with them and stay around them, knowing that they're not good, that they're toxic, and they're unhealthy. So it takes courage, you know, to step away from people that you might become grown accustomed to hanging with and spending time with. It takes courage to do that, but it's possible to do when your mind is made up and you focus on your mental health and taking care of it, because your mental health is your wealth. So don't let nobody put you in poverty mentally. Don't let nobody put you in poverty mentally, because that's where your wealth is. And you build your mental wealth, you build, you know, your peace of mind and sanity and all those things. Don't let nobody come in and strip you of that and burden you with what they petty conversations and things that is not going to make a difference in the scheme of things of your life. So that's one. And so being focused is important, and setting boundaries. Setting boundaries keep us from being duped and easily cheated and deceived and lured into traps, because you set boundaries. Hey, look here, I don't want to participate in that kind of talk, negativity. I don't want to participate in the time, how you spending time and what you're doing. I don't want to be a part of it. Take a stand. Tell people you don't want to be a part of it. Tell people that you're not going to stand for that. Tell people that you stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Tell people you got boundaries. Be assertive. Let people know, hey, look here, I'm not going for that. Stand up for yourself. So that's important. Take your own struggles and problems to God. That's a big one. Taking your problems and inward struggles to God. Sometimes you can't even talk to people about what you're going through. Sometimes you can't. You know what I'm saying? We live in that type of society, and a lot of people don't want to hear nobody problems anyway. So oftentimes God is the only one you have to talk to about your issues. And the blessing, as I said, that you can give him your problems and your burdens and rest easy. And so it's important that we be and do what God called us to do and what he's called us to be. You were born an original. Don't become somebody else's copy. Many people is going around imitating other people instead of walking in their own uniqueness. And that's important to do that. That we walk in our own uniqueness. We walk in our own strength and qualities that God gave us. So it's a mistake. So a lot of people make the mistake of allowing toxic people to influence their mind negative without doing something about it. And before they know it, their mental health start going downhill. They find themselves depressed. They find themselves stressed. They find themselves carrying other people's burdens around. Like that's their life assignment. So you have to learn how to protect and guard yourself against the various attacks of the enemy. So you have to guard and protect yourself, and it's important. The words say that a prudent man foresee the evil and hide himself. It's some things that you have to foresee. You have to see it a mile away and go the other way to not be a part of it. So it's important for you to know that, where you are, and what you can handle, what level you're on. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what you can handle. If you are stressed out or having a hard time, a hard day at work, your day was already hard, so you can't carry nobody else's burden. And then here comes somebody trying to bring you drama, and they mess. You got to say, hey, look here. I got my own stuff I got to deal with. I got my own problems and issues. I can't carry yours too. You gonna have to carry your own. And that's important. That's a part of maturity. Dealing with being able to deal with things in a constructive way, issues, instead of projecting them on other people and trying to dump on other people. Don't be no garbage can for nobody. That's important. So we have to look at that. 85% of our personality is learned behavior. That's important to look at because a lot of things we pick up through the years, we don't even realize we picked up. And some things we have to examine and look at, hey, where did I get this from? What impact is this relationship that I have on me, that is having on me, that I'm not even conscious and aware of. Sometimes we go through life like that until we sit back and say, hey, look here, I ain't gotta be like this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta, just because other people are running around chaotic, I don't have to run around chaotic. And so it's important that we look at things and behaviors that the people that we hang around or grew up around, the things that we picked up and that we accepted as a normal part of our daily reality or existence, and begin to change and work on that, to change those behavior to get better results, that is. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. That's important. So we have to look at that. So another thing, how can you unlearn a behavior if you don't see it as a problem? There it is. How can you unlearn a behavior if you don't see it as a problem? So you have to see, hey, is this not getting me what I want? I keep bumping my head here. You know what I'm saying? I got used to acting this way, but is it a problem? And if it's a problem, then you have to change it. It's not enough to say, hey, this is the way I am. This is the way I was raised. You know what I'm saying? This is just me. You just got to accept me for who I am and how I am. It don't work like that. You have to make sure that you doing what you have to do to make the adjustment. Because here's the thing. This is what happened, right? You begin to take losses. You know what I'm saying? You begin to lose out on things. You know, because you're not cherishing it, you're not valuing it, you're not treating it properly. You're not people and things. If you don't treat your stuff properly, it's not gonna last long. If you don't treat people properly, your relationships are not going to last long. So that's very important. That's why it's so important to start making changes and taking care of the mental health and guarding, protecting yourself from negative influences and people. Your environment may have shaped who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. I want you to think about that for a minute. Your environment may have shaped who you are, but you're responsible for who you become. And we're all in the process of becoming. And so if we're all in the process of becoming, I want you to think about this. Then what type of person are you becoming? And here's the thing about it. We have a choice how we become. It don't have to happen by default. We're just living and going through the emotion and existing. Because most people conform to the standards of the world because the people around them are setting the tone for their lives. But you have to set the tone for your own life by taking responsibility for yourself. That's important. Responsibility means to choose your response in life. You have to do that. You have to choose your response, how you deal with life and how you navigate and how you resolve issues. So the inward struggles we face, it can become overbearing if we don't do nothing about them, especially when it comes to our mental health, our inward struggles. And an important rule to maintaining your mental health is being able to release problems, not holding it in. Many people think that they can just hold it in, hold in stress. But then the body begin to break down. You begin to break down. The mind begin to break down. You have to release it. You have to give it to God. You have to let it go so that you can grow, so that you can move forward. Your mental health is your wealth. I'm getting ready to conclude on the live. Now, I just wanted to leave you with those words to guard and protect your mental health, because there's a world of traps out there. In those traps, we can become stuck and entangled in behaviors. And so we have to fight through those challenges to make a difference in our lives. This is your brother Renard Robinson signing out, Passion Driven Ministry. God bless. Have a blessed day. Until next time, I'll be talking with you.